Hello everyone. In this lesson we're going to go and take a look at the order by clause, and also we want to discuss joins, which is tying multiple tables together to fetch data. This may be a bit longer than normal. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but be patient. If you like to learn this, it's going to be important. Let's start by talking about sorting using order by. So I'm going to do a select. Let's say everything, all columns from publisher. Let's first take a look at this. You can see that the publishers come in the order that they were placed into the table. We can change that by putting in an order by clause, and I can say order by name, which is the column that I want to sort by. And now they're ordered alphabetically. The sort order is ascending by default. You can always add DESC for descending and execute it. And it's going to be a reverse alphabetical order. There's another keyword, ASC for ascending, but that is the default, so you really don't need to worry about it. Let's take a look at another example of this. I'm going to say let's using column alias for sorting. So let's do a select a pub ID. So I'm picking columns this time, name, but I'm going to do this as publisher name. And notice I am skipping the as keyword just so you get used to the idea, because you're going to see a lot of developers do that, and it may feel funny at first about what's going on, but that space really is the as keyword is supposed to be there. From publisher, notice I'm going to say order by, oops, let me make it all caps, publisher name. And here we go. You can see that now the publisher name, the name column, has got the alias of publisher name, and we can actually sort based on the column alias, which is what I wanted to show. We can also sort based on multiple fields. Let's do one. So I'm going to select, let's say a last name, first name, city and state, from customers, where state equals Florida, or state equals California, order by state descending. And you can see the color code didn't change, which tells me that I missed something, in this case a single quote. And then city, which I'm not putting descending next to it, so it means ascending. So I actually go ahead and execute this one. So as you can see, only Florida and California were selected, and we ordered first based on the state in descending order. So Florida came before California. Ascending would have been California before Florida, obviously. Then within the state, we actually did it in ascending order. So you can see that Claremont is coming before Eastmont or East Point, and before Miami, and then Tallahassee in Florida. So you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to the order by clause. Let us now go ahead and take a look at our first join statements. And joining is when you are actually tying two tables together to fetch data. First join. I'm going to do a select, title and name. I'm going to select it from books and publisher. And I am having all sorts of spelling errors. From books, publisher. Now, if you were to leave it just like this, you get what we refer to as a cross product. What SQL does, it basically ties every field with every title with every name, which is definitely not what we want. So we can put a where clause here, say where books dot pub ID is equal to the publisher dot pub ID. So find matches between them, and as long as there are matches, they will be displayed. And let's see with my terrible spelling. So now we can tell that title How to Get Faster Pizza was created by Reading Materials Incorporated. It's important to understand that this type of join is called an inner join, sometimes an equijoin, which means that there must be a match in the books table and the publisher table for something to be returned. What does that mean? That means if I had a title that didn't have a publisher, that would not show up in this list. Or if I had a publisher who did not have any titles, it would not show up excuse me, in this list. That's what an equijoin means. Now, this is the older way of doing joins. An equivalent way using join keyword would be to basically have the first same select statement, so title name, but we say from books join publisher, and then instead of where we say on books dot pub ID is equal to publisher dot pub ID. And this is considered the more professional, preferred way of writing join statements. So you're going to see me do most of my joins using this approach. Okay? Very simple. Let's go ahead and do another join statement right here. I am going to create something that's a bit more complicated. Let's see. What should I do here? Let's do this one. Let's do select, because it's going to teach us something new. I'm going to deal with table aliases and joins. So I'm going to do a select title, comma, p.pubid. Actually, let's just do pub ID here, just so you see the error first. And let's say name from publisher join books where publisher dot pub ID is equal to books dot pub ID. And I'm going to add a clause here. I'm sorry, not where, it's on. And where cost is less than 15 or pub ID is equal to 1. And I'll order the whole thing by title. Now this is not going to work, and we'll see why in just a moment. Notice it says that I have an ambiguous column pub ID. Because pub ID is in both publisher and books, SQL Server doesn't know which one to fetch this from. Now we have a couple of options. I could go in here and actually prefix this with a table name, putting publisher dot. And if I try to run this again, you can see that this one is still ambiguous. I can put publisher dot over here, and that works fine, and that's what I wanted. But a better approach would be, oops, sorry about that. Better approach would be to actually alias this. So I'm going to say instead of pub publisher, I'm going to put p.pubid, and I'm going to alias publisher as p, and I'll alias books as b, and then I'll replace wherever I see publisher with p, and wherever I see books with b, and I'm going to make this be p. Much cleaner, shorter, and very popular to actually do this. I do want to point out that when you alias a table, you can no longer use the table name. In other words, once I have alias publisher as p in the from clause, and notice I'm aliasing the table, not the column, I can no longer come here and, for instance, say publisher. This is going to generate an error. Okay? So once you alias it, you have to stick with that. Also remember, the as keyword is completely optional, so I could remove both of these, and this is going to execute just fine. Okay? So that was another join where we had a where clause and an order by clause included. I'm going to do a couple of other joins here, namely a self join. And then we want to take a look at left and right outer joins. A self join is a table that's tied to itself. First, let's take a look at select everything from customers. You may recall that this customers table actually has a field called referred, meaning that some customers referred other customers. So this is a table that is actually tied to itself. Clearly, one customer can refer many other customers. So 1003, who is that? That's Layla Smith, has referred two customers to us, Tammy Guiana and Jorge Perez. So given that, let's actually find out about how to join this table to itself. We're going to select r.firstname, r.lastname, and c.lastname as referred. Let me put this in double quotes. From, and take a look at this, you will like this. From customers C, join customers R. Notice that I'm aliasing customers twice with two different names or two different aliases. On C.referred equal to R.customer ID. And here we go. So I can see that Layla Smith was referred by, Layla Smith referred Guiana and Perez. I probably should make this C dot first name plus a space plus, that might be a little cleaner doing it this way. So Layla Smith referred Tammy Guiana and Layla Smith referred Jorge Perez, etc. So you can see how a table can be joined to itself, which is quite useful. The last thing I want to discuss with joins is the concept of left and right outer joins. And these are mechanisms put in to fetch information that would normally not show up. Let's actually take a look at this in an example so we see it. I am going to do a select. I'm going to do a select, let's say, last name, comma, first name, comma, order, ID, from customers C, join orders O, those are aliases as you recall, and C.customer ID is equal to O.customer ID. And this is good enough. So this is going to show me all the customers who have actually placed an order. Remember that this is an equi-join or normal join. And both sides, customers and orders, must have matching records for this to happen. Is it possible, however, that some customers never ordered anything? And that is definitely a possibility. So how do I get those customers? I'm going to copy this and come over here. The customers being the table sitting to left of the join keyword, I'm going to put a left over here. You can put just left or you can put left outer. Either one is fine. This is the more correct way of doing it. And if I run this, you can now see that there are some customers that are showing up as null. What does this left outer do? What this does, it says fetch everything from the left table regardless of whether there is a match in the right table, but only fetch whatever is in the right table that matches. Okay, so we can see that we have some customers showing up and there were no orders. I could be more specific over here by putting in a basically go over here and put a where clause. I'm going to say where, order ID is null, and this way I get just the customers who have never placed an order, and that might be a cue for me to determine what I should do to get those customers to order something from me. Now if this situation was reversed, if I wanted to fetch everything from the right table, right of the join clause, instead of putting in left outer, I would put in right outer. It would fetch everything from this right table and only the matching stuff from the left table. Okay, I hope that you guys enjoyed this lesson. Thank you for being a great audience as always. Please share your knowledge with others on the web too, and if you're enjoying these videos, please share them with your loved ones and friends.